Hi there, it's Samantha, and welcome back to Wife Stewardship Podcast. So in today's podcast, I want to kind of tell you something. And like the title says, I finally decided to give up my miniskirt, a decision that I struggled with for a very long time. The truth is, the miniskirt never truly aligned with my personality, which I describe as soft, subtle, and classic. I'm not interested in fame or being the center of attention. I shy away from seeking notice or acknowledgement. I'm neither trendy nor adventurous, which explains why the miniskirt was a mismatch for my personal style. My only reason for wearing them was my fondness of my legs. Similarly, I enjoy showcasing my collarbones and shoulders, as these are parts of my body I appreciate the most. My hesitation in giving up the miniskirt stemmed from my understanding of what flatters my body shape, especially as a petite woman. I believed it was the perfect touch to my style. My healing journey led me to a deeper understanding of modesty. While modesty itself might not be my inherent style, I realized my clothing choices needed to reflect my faith and values. This was a challenging process, to say the least. It involved several steps. First, a thorough closet purge to remove clothes that no longer suited the woman I was becoming. Then God asked me to lose 10 pounds and to get my body in shape. However, the initial step in this transformation was the slow process of growing out my hair. God was cultivating a new woman within me, and these external changes were his requirements. Growing out my hair was both novel and difficult. I had worn it short for 15 years, and now it was getting increasingly gray as it grew longer. Although I had already lost a significant amount of weight, the additional 10 pounds required healthier eating and more exercise. Cleaning out my closet took weeks of unraveling and dismissing many items, ultimately leading to the surrender of my miniskirt. The entire process was incredibly demanding, requiring immense patience with myself and with the journey itself. These changes did not happen overnight. They were a slow, solitary work. The ultimate reward was the experience of going through this process with God and finally embodying the woman I had prayed to become. This transformation served as preparation for what lies ahead, ensuring that I am ready for God's next plan for my life. Living for God is profoundly rewarding, even amidst the long suffering. You should know that you have the freedom to ask God for anything. Whether through deep prayer or a simple request, he is listening and will provide an answer. In my personal experience, however, the answer he gives is rarely what I initially expect or look for. His timing is divine, and sometimes his response is instant, while other times it is delayed by hours, days, weeks, or even months. He waits until the precise moment you are truly prepared to receive and understand his guidance. I reached a point where I decided to ask him for help with my personal struggle, which was how to lose an extra 10 pounds. The truth is, achieving this goal on my own felt incredibly difficult. I realized I could not succeed without his grace. The real reward was not just the physical weight loss, but the journey of losing the weight alongside God. He wanted me to learn to rely entirely on him to see it through. The instructions I received were surprisingly simple. Walk for 30 minutes every day and to stop eating meat. Initially, giving up meat seemed like a monumental challenge. But I soon realized that my habit of eating meat was merely a relationship I had built with myself. It was yet another attachment God was asking me to surrender to him. I even questioned if such a simple routine of walking and a dietary change was enough, and he assured me it was. By following his guidance, eating only seafood as meat, and walking daily, I was able to lose the weight he required of me. Although it may sound easy, the process required discipline and was only possible through his grace. This lifestyle shift transformed both my internal spirit and my external appearance. Putting meat aside was a true gain. Though I do not identify as a vegan, I no longer consume meat, and the spiritual rewards have far exceeded anything I could have imagined. God is intimately involved in every aspect of your life. The word all is truly inclusive, everything. Not just some things, but all things. He knows you inside and out and understands exactly what your unique body requires. While this specific path worked for me, it may look different for you because we are all each crafted uniquely. Think of us as individual stones rather than uniform bricks. God may require a different sacrifice or change from you to achieve the transformation he desires for your life. The journey of my hair began with a long-standing identity. As a short-hair girl, in my youth, I lacked the interest and the skill of managing my own hair. Though it flourished under my mother's care and grew quite lengthy, however, the moment I gained independence with my first paycheck at 16, I chose to cut it off at the salon. While I briefly had longer hair in college, thanks to the help of friends, I quickly returned to a short, relaxed style that I maintained for over 2 decades. I even attempted to go natural once, but my stylist correctly predicted it wouldn't last. I simply did not care for the volume of big hair and returned to my signature short look within 6 weeks. Everything changed when I felt God instructing me to grow my hair out. This was a shocking directive for me and everyone who knew me. I moved away from chemical relaxers, though I still choose to not wear my hair in its natural state, maintaining my preference for a more controlled look over big hair. The transformation was far from simple. It was a period where God was actively defining and refining my appearance. When I was told to avoid braids, I felt lost because I didn't know how to style my hair myself. But I eventually realized that this was about more than just aesthetics. God had already refined my spirit, and he was now refining my exterior so that I would reflect my Father both inside and out. Through this cultivation, I became an entirely new woman. A close friend even remarked that despite the challenges I was facing, I didn't look stressed. This is the peace that comes when you are in step with God. You possess an internal joy that radiates outwardly. I came to understand that I was undergoing a comprehensive refining process that touched every aspect of my life. Ultimately, you cannot be fully used by God until you have been refined by him. Just as sheep follow their shepherd's instructions, this was a necessary pruning process intended to align my life with his purpose. Isaiah, the 64th chapter, the 8th verse. But now, O Lord, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou our potter. We are all the work of thy hand. This verse serves as a profound acknowledgement of sovereignty and the intimate relationship between the Creator and his creation. By addressing God as our Father, the text establishes a bond that is personal and rooted in a covenant of care and provision, similar to the way the Maker is described as a husband. The imagery of the potter and the clay illustrates a state of complete submission and potential. As the clay, we are invited to recognize our own malleability and dependence on the master craftsman who possesses the perfect wisdom and authority to forge and fashion our lives. This craftsmanship ensures that even through the fire of life's trials, represented by the smith who bloweth the coals, we are being shaped into an instrument for his work according to his purposeful design. Ultimately, being the work of thy hand is that our identity and stability are not found in our own strength or the fleeting assurance of the world, but in the enduring and everlasting kindness of the Lord. Just as a potter rebuilds and restores, God promises a foundation of eternal substance, replacing the ruins of affliction with a beauty and radiance that transcends earthly despair. Romans, the 9th chapter, the 21st verse. Have not the potter power over the clay? of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? Verse 22. What if God, willing to shew his wrath and to make his power known, endureth with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Here, Apostle Paul utilizes the metaphor of the potter and the clay to illustrate sovereignty and the mature of human purpose. Sovereignty. Just as a potter has absolute authority over the clay to shape it according to their will, the Creator possesses the power to designate the purpose and end of each vessel created from the same humanity. Purpose of vessels. It distinguishes between vessels intended for honor and those for dishonor, emphasizing that the different roles exist within the plan. Verse 22 explains on this by addressing the vessels of wrath. God, while fully intending to demonstrate his righteousness, anger, and manifest his power, choose to exercise much long suffering, great patience, and endurance toward those who were fitted to destruction. This indicates a deliberate delay in judgment, serving to highlight the contrast between God's justice and mercy. Long suffering and wrath. Expanding on this by questioning the intent behind God's long suffering. God may endure vessels of wrath, those designated for destruction, in order to ultimately manifest his power and demonstrate his justice in the world. Now, while you do have a choice in life, I would recommend that you yield to the Lord and allow God to be God. The act of surrender is not a sign of weakness, but rather a profound recognition of his sovereignty and wisdom. Everything that God has for you is on the other side of yielding to his will. By aligning your desires with his purpose, you step into a flow of grace that transcends human understanding. I am sure that God has already done great things in your life, providing blessings and guidance through various seasons. However, imagine how much more he will do just by you yielding yourself to him. You open doors in your life. He will open doors in your life, not you. He will open doors in your life that you didn't even know existed. These opportunities and spiritual breakthroughs are often reserved for those who are willing to set aside their own agendas to follow his leading. God has it all orchestrated, weaving every circumstance together for your ultimate good. Trust in him completely, even when the path ahead seems unclear. Believe in him and the promises he has spoken over your life, for his timing and his ways are perfect. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I'll see you again, or I'll talk to you again on next Wednesday at 7 p.m.